When truth challenges tradition, the classroom becomes a battlefield. In the University of Lagos, where power hides behind academic robes, one student's faith will become his weapon. The lecturer demands favors for grades, tradition demands silence, but courage demands justice. Will one voice be squashed, or will the giant fall? Stay with me as we discover his journey. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, so you will not miss out in our next thrilling video. The sun was beginning to dip behind the palm trees lining a coca road. The University of Lagos campus, with its bustle of students rushing between lecture halls and study groups, always felt alive at this hour. The sharp edges of late afternoon shadows, the distant calls of lecturers finalizing their classes, this was the ordinary rhythm of campus life. David Ifedayo was a 300-level student, studying mass communication. He was quiet, diligent, often overlooked. He did not carry a loud voice, but he carried faith. A keen observer. A young Christian determined not to compromise, even when the cost was high. His lecturer, Dr. Damilola Mike, was highly respected, renowned for published papers abroad, quotes in media, even church fellowship booths. Tall, confident, unflinching behind his glasses. But beneath the prestige lay whispers of favoritism, of students who would pay in silence, of those who traded friendship for grades, of others intimidated into submission. For many, these whispers were background noise. Tradition. Such is life in university, they would say. But for David, something inside him stirred unquietly. Faith, justice, and the thought that God sees hidden things. It began subtly. After mid-semester exams, David noticed his course score was far lower than he expected. He had studied quality material, participated in class, submitted his best work. But others who came close to the lecturer, those who smiled, brought small gifts, networked orphans, seemed to fare better. One day, David met Dr. Kazim after class, politely asking for feedback. The lecturer's tone, at first warm, shifted. He leaned back, adjusted his glasses. "David, you understand grades are not just merit here. There's more than meets the eye." David's heart pounded. He asked, "Sir, is there any extra work I can do?" The lecturer's eyes narrowed. "There are ways students can be helped," he said, voice low. "If one is close, if one is helpful. You understand?" David left that day with uneasy thoughts. Was he being asked for favors? Was this corruption, or was it tradition he must learn to navigate? He prayed. He wrestled with shame, confusion. His friends, many already on that path, warned him. Big David, NA who get favor get pass in this class. You go spoil your spirit. Enjoy legacies, small side hook. Make life soft. To others, David's desire to stay honest looked naive. As the final term approached, the pressure intensified. Dr. Kazim announced a project worth a large percentage of final grade. He assigned teams, but glanced at students with known connections and placed them in better slots, with more resources, with more lenient evaluation. David's group was assigned the toughest topic, less time, older equipment. When David approached about the imbalance, he was told, "Life favors those who network, David. Grades are not just about what you know, but who you know." It's always been so. Friends told him to quietly find favor. Some approached the lecturer outside class to chat, to gift. David resisted. His faith whispered differently, "Do not sell your integrity for ease." He began seeing young women and men cornered in hallways, told to just assist me with this, come to my office behind closed door, in exchange for improved marks. Many said nothing, fear, shame, pressure to graduate. Meanwhile, David spent nights in the university chapel, in his hostel, praying for strength. He dug through university governing rules, staff handbooks, academic codes. He wrote down what he believed was fair, equal opportunity, access, evaluation by merit, safety from coercion. One humid evening, in the Media Studies building, David's project presentation was scheduled. He had both courage and fear in his bones. Before the class, Dr. Kazim praised some groups lightly, mocking others behind closed doors. David's group took the podium. Their slides flickered, blurry images, incomplete data, because the equipment budget for them was minimal. Yet David spoke plainly, powerfully. "Sir, this presentation reflects our work, what we could achieve with what was given. We did our best. But I ask, is merit still respected in this hall?" A sharp silence. Some students shifted. Dr. Kazim's lips curled. He leaned forward. "David, you are courageous, perhaps too bold. But courage without humility can be disruptive. Grades reflect more than your words." After class, David was called to the lecturer's office. Doors closed. Shades drawn. The corridor was empty. David's mouth went dry. "David," Dr. Kazim said, "you could do better. If you want mercy, there are ways. If you want favor." David felt trapped. He could accept quietly, get better grades, graduate. Or refuse, speak up publicly, risk retaliation, failure, whispers, the wrath of tradition combined with power. David thought of his mother, of his church, of the word. In him, faith burned. He took a breath. "Sir, I will not trade truth for comfort." David went back to his hostel, wrote. He recorded audio messages from students, anonymously. He gathered testimonies from friends who were too scared to speak. He captured emails, unofficial marks, unfair bonuses given to students who attended private tutorials in the lecturer's home. He found a Christian fellowship on campus, shared what he knew. They encouraged him. He posted a video online, anonymous at first, merit over favor, a story from UNILAG. He laid out specific grievances, demands for favors, inequitable grading, misuse of tutorial sessions for coercion, awarding marks to those who compromised, ignoring students who asked for help but didn't offer something extra. Views trickled at first, then surged. Students shared, pastors reposted, parents spoke, other universities resonated. They saw their own stories in David's. Dr. Kazim noticed. Power pushed back. The lecturer posted a notice on the faculty board: any student found defaming staff or using false claims will be sanctioned. Some of David's friends were called in. Some had marks changed. Some were threatened: don't let this student, David, drag you down. David's slides were seized, his name was publicly wiped. He was suspended from presenting the final project. Classmates turned quiet, avoiding him. The fellowship asked him to lay low, to protect scholarship, future prospects. David wrestled with doubt. Did I make a mistake? Should have I kept quiet? Yet, in the chapel late night, he again found peace. God, if you are with me, that is enough. In a twist no one expected, a senior lecturer in another department, Dr. Amina Oluniyi, reached out. She had mentored many students quietly, but never publicly. She had kept her own integrity and noticed David's courage. She offered to help him bring evidence to university administration, student union, and press. With her help, the audio messages and documentation were delivered to university management and also sent to Christian media platforms. Public outcry escalated. #merit over favor, #truth in the classroom trended. Nigerian Christian influencers posted about it. News outlets called for investigation. The Vice-Chancellor's office was forced to act. One late afternoon, Dr. Kazim's door was visited, a panel of investigation Saturday. Students were asked to testify, many still anonymously. The panel reviewed emails, tutorial invitations, attendance sheets, the favoritism in grading. The panel confirmed wrongdoing, favoritism, improper private tutorials used to demand favor, grade inflation for some at cost of others, misuse of academic power. Dr. Kazim received sanctions, removed from the class, demoted, required to publicly apologize, and to make amends via regrading where possible. David was restored. His project evaluated fairly. Some students had marks adjusted. Some supportive lecturers came forward, offering to tutor free for lost opportunities. Fellowship programs and student unions used his story to propose policy reforms, anonymous grading, oversight, complaint systems. David didn't emerge fully unscathed. The scars of isolation, betrayal, threats remained. But he knew courage and truth mattered. In chapel, David stood with friends, his voice trembling. "I did not win by strength or connections, but by faith. Truth is louder than fear. When you stand for what is right, God's honor is revealed." Sometimes the cost of truth is high, but God honors those who choose it over convenience. Purity and integrity matter, even when tradition normalizes compromise. Faith is more than private belief. When lived out, it challenges unjust systems. Justice requires documentation, accountability, community courage. David didn't stand alone. Others who earlier were silent found boldness in his stand. This story isn't just about one student or one lecturer. It's about every believer in every setting, business, family, workplace, church, who faces a giant of corruption, injustice, exploitation. The classroom today, maybe the corporate office tomorrow. The giant looks formidable. But with God, giants can indeed fall.